you have covered in the past. Slope. It's rise over run, and of course on the top you have change in y, so you have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So always count the rise, and then count the run. Put the rise on top and the run on the bottom. All right. Oops. One thing you want to make sure that if you are going ahead and calculating it without a graph, I would suggest that you are consistent in subtracting the x's and the y coordinates in a consistent manner. For example, if you were taught to do y2 minus y1, most of you guys would do 8 minus 3 over 4 minus 0. 8 minus 3 on top, 4 minus 0 on bottom to get your slope of 5 over 4. All right, let's take a look at the next slide. And let's take a look. A skateboard ramp has a rise of 15 inches and a run of 54 inches. What is its slope? Rise over run. So we would go ahead and take the 15 for the rise and place it over the 54. So we have 15 over 54, which simplifies to 5 over 18. Okay. What is the slope of the line passing through these 2 points? Once again, we do rise over run. So we go ahead and we grab our little pen, and we take the y value of -1, subtract a 3 on top, and on the bottom we take 2 and subtract -1. And so on the top we get -1 minus -3 gets you a -4. And on the bottom we would get 2 minus -1. Oh, that becomes a big plus sign, so we get a 3. So -4/3. So A is your correct answer. All right. What if in example 1, suppose that the rise of the ramp is 12 inches without changing the run? All right, so let's go back real quick. The run would have been 54. So run of 54 and a rise of 12. So we have 12 over 54. And since it's 12 over 54, it simplifies to 2/9. Now this next one I would like you guys to try on your own. Please figure out the slope for a line that passes through -4/9 and -8/3. Pause your video. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. You should have been able to get D, 3/2. Make sure you show your work to get full credit. Here we have some more questions for you to practice. So could you please try numbers 3 through 6? Find your slope for all 4 of these. Pause your video. Welcome back. For number 3, you should have been able to find a slope of 5/4. Number 4, -1/2. Number 5 was 1/3. And number 6 was -1/2. Make sure you show all your work. All right, now the other thing other than slope we need to be able to figure out is if it's a positive, negative, 0, or undefined. As you come in from the left, if it goes uphill, it's positive. And if you go downhill, it's negative. If you stay flat, it's 0. And if you go straight down, it's undefined. All right. So without graphing, tell whether the line through the given points rises, falls, is horizontal, or is vertical. So first of all, find your slope. So what we do for A is we will find that the slope is 0, which means it's flat, which means it's undefined. Oh, I'm so sorry, not undefined. It just means it has a 0 slope because it's just going to go straight across the page. Part B, we find the slope, -1/2. Negative means it's going downhill, it's falling. Part C, plug in your numbers and you get 5/6, which means it's positive. So you're going to have a positive line and it's going to rise. And this is -7/0. You cannot divide by a 0. That is undefined. So it's going to be a vertical line going straight up and down. All right, here's some for you to try out. Pause your video while you do 7 through 9 or 7 through 10 and tell whether or not it's negative, positive, 0, or a undefined slope. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. Number 7, the slope was less than 0, so it was negative. Number 8, the slope is undefined, so it's vertical. And number 9, the slope is 0. It's flat. It's horizontal. And number 10, the slope was positive, so the line rises. All right, parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines will have the exact same slope, look. And then perpendiculars will have opposite slopes in every way. Positive, negative, and reciprocals. So let's take a look. Here's an example of line 1, line 2. Here's the point for line 1, point for line 2. And so we take a look, and we have find the slopes of the two lines. So let's find the slope of this line here, line 1, and it's negative 3 over 2. And as we continue, we get the other slope is 2 over 3. They're exactly opposite of each other. So since they're opposite of each other, called negative reciprocal, it is going to be perpendicular. So as you look over here, you notice these two lines are perpendicular to each other. So let's take a look at the next question. Let's try part B. Oops, sorry. Part B, if we actually find the slopes of those two lines, they're negative 5/3 and negative 5/3. They have the exact same slope, so they are parallel lines. All right, here's your chance to try. Please find the slopes of these two lines and compare them and decide if they're the same, they're parallel. If they're negative reciprocals, they're perpendicular. And if they're not either one of those, it's a neither situation. Pause your video and try number 11 and 12. Welcome back. For number 11, you should have been able to find that they were perpendicular, they were opposite, or negative reciprocal. And for number 12, they were neither. All right, rate of change is the same thing as slope. Okay, so please don't get confused. Rate of change is the same thing that they're asking you for is a slope. So let's take a look. Here's a word problem. Here's a big sequoia tree, 137-inch diameter in 1965. In 2005, it's 141-inch diameter. So how would you be able to predict the sequoia's, so use the diagram which illustrates the growth of a giant sequoia to find the average rate of change in the diameter of the sequoia over time. So we could actually use these numbers here as your X and Y. 137 inches in 1965 and 141 inches in 2005. There we go. So we have the 141 minus 137. Those are your Y values. Those were the diameters. And then in the time, we have 2005 to 1965. So we subtract those. And we get 4 inches over 40 years. So 0.1 inch per year is how fast the tree is growing. All right. I would like you guys to do this final question for 248-inch sequoia in 1965, 251-inch sequoia in 2005. Please find the average rate of change, which is also known as slope. Pause your video, give it a try. Okay, so the average rate of change would be 0.075 inches per year. So what would you predict it would be in 2105? All you would have to do is use this times the number of years. So you would get 258 inches, 258.5 inches. A lot of work to do here. Sorry for that, but I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great evening.